Muslims who want halal wealth do these 3 steps starting today to copy my wealth attraction script that has allowed me to manifest 10K months multiple times. So the first step is to write out your vision in detail. Now, you have to understand that if you've been procrastinating, if you've felt one day that you've been motivated and the next day you've been lost, it's because you don't have clarity. You're not an idiot, you're not stupid, you're not worthless, you're not missing anything but clarity. You see, how are you supposed to know what you want without writing it down, without being certain? How is Allah supposed to give you what you want if you can't even write it down? And I want you to be explicit. I want you to be incredibly clear on what you want, because this is the first step. Before we know anything else, we need to know, what do we want to achieve? And I don't go what we want to achieve in a broad sense. I want you to be incredibly detailed. To the minute detail, I want you to write it out what you want. How many kids you want, what sort of house you want, what sort of car you want, where do you want to live, how many houses do you want to have, what sort of business, what sort of income do you want to be making, how much money, what are you doing with that money, who are you remembered as, who are you known by, what sort of power do you have? I want you to go into every single detail of what your life looks like, what your day-to-day life looks like, what do you get up to in the morning, what time do you wake up, what sort of bed do you have. You might think to yourself, Fedi, this sounds a bit pointless, why would I go into so much detail? And it goes back to the thing I said earlier. How is Allah supposed to give you what you want if you can't even decide what you want? How? And you might have this niggling thought in your mind that says, what's the point in being so detailed if I don't even know if I'll get this? But that's why you don't know if you'll get it. Because you're not being certain. You're not like 100% certain in what you want. That's why you don't know if you'll get what you want. Because you don't know what it is. Because here's the truth. Once you figure out what you want and you write it down and you make your vision incredibly clear, it's quite easy to figure out how to get there. And now there's just multiple paths to one destination. Whereas right now you're thinking about 5, 10, 20 different destinations. And that's why you can't even pick your path. That's why you procrastinate. That's why everything feels overwhelming. Because it's not the paths. It's the fact that no matter the path, you're not certain about the destination. Why would you go to an airport and just buy a ticket if you don't know where you're going? You're going to get angry. You're going to find yourself in like the south of Tunisia. And although I love the south of Tunisia because I'm from there, you're going to be like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. I want it to be on a beach in the north of Tunisia. Or I want it to be in Turkey, or I want it to be in America. Like, if you don't know your destination, you're going to hate life. You're going to hate life because no matter where you end up, you're going to feel like it was out of your control. And the reason for that was because that you weren't clear. And now step number 2 is you decided what you want. You decided, right? What does decision mean, right? Incision, cut. So decision is to cut other options, meaning you cut all the other paths. You've picked this one path. That's it. You're going to commit yourself to it. And step 2.5, if you will, is you deserve it. You have to convince yourself that you deserve it. Now, again, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Fedi, I don't think I deserve it. And you're right. You don't deserve it right now. You don't. And so you're going to have to build proof that you do deserve it. But it starts with the feeling of you deserving it. Before you think, oh, but I'm not good enough. Oh, I've done sins in the past. Why would Allah give this to me? Just for a second, quiet your mind and understand this. How is anybody supposed to know what you want or what you deserve if you can't even convince yourself that you deserve it? How is somebody supposed to give you the money that you want if you don't even believe that you deserve it? It all starts with you. It starts with you. It doesn't, you're not in the middle, you're not at the end. It starts with you. Nobody's going to come in and believe in you straight off the bat. Nobody believed in me in my entrepreneurial journey. Nobody. My family didn't believe in me. My friends didn't believe in me. When I told them how much money I made, all of them were like, oh, to be honest with you, Fedi, like we didn't think you'd actually make it. Like they're not bad people, but I'm telling you, the things you want start with you. You have to feel like you deserve it, because the world doesn't give you what you deserve. The world gives you what you demand from it. And when you make dua for something, you have to understand that you making dua and going, Ya Allah, please give me this thing and this thing, but deep down, you don't feel like you deserve it. Deep down, you're going, I'm not good enough for this. I've committed past sins. Who am I to ask for this? You will never get it, which is why you've struggled so hard to be consistent in your work, which is why you struggled so hard to, you've seen other people get what they want and you go, they're lucky. They're not lucky. They followed step 1 by being incredibly clear. They followed step 2 by feeling like they deserve it. And that's where you're lacking. That's why everything feels like an uphill battle, because you are fighting against yourself. You will never allow yourself to get something that you don't feel you deserve, because you're a good human being, right? You think things should be fair, but you decide what's fair. You decide what you deserve. You decide what you're worthy of and unworthy of. And the last and final step is how you make dua. How you make dua is incredibly important. Notice I made these steps easy, right? It's going to take you 10, 20 minutes maximum to be clear on what your vision is. If you just sit down and focus, which most people won't, they'll watch this video and just not care. They won't focus at all. But if you actually focus, describe what your vision is, and you read it every single day, that's a little bonus. You read it every single day, you won't forget it. You'll always be motivated, right? People think motivation is like this. Motivation can go up like this. You just have to remind yourself why you started in the first place, what you're aiming towards. And the second step is if you continuously feel like you deserve it, if you decide what you want, you cut every other option. And the last step, do you make dua correctly? I see most people make dua wrong, and it kills me. There's two steps to making a dua correctly. The first step is to genuinely have faith in the fact that Allah can provide you whatever you want. The early Salaf, not Salafism today, just the early Salaf, right? The early believers, the early adopters of Islam, the early scholars, what they found was that making dua was very, very simple. And they made the biggest du'as, by the way. They made du'as, they used to say, Ya Allah, part the sea for me like you did for Moses. Ya Allah, provide me with the wealth that you provided Sulaiman. Ya Allah, provide me with the wisdom that you provided Sulaiman and Dawood. Ya Allah, do for me what you've done for those that came before me. How crazy is that? You see, it's not that they believed they were better than them. It's not that they believed they were on the same level of the prophets and the messengers. But what they believed was that Allah was capable of doing it again, if He wanted to. And so you have to understand, and you've probably heard this before, right? Allah will not change the state of a person unless that person changes it within themselves first. And so Allah will not change anything in your life unless you decide to make that change first. Unless you follow step number 2 and you make that change internally and you feel like you deserve it, but also when you make that dua that you have faith that Allah will provide you because He's infinite. It decreases nothing from Him. My business partner has this beautiful saying he says all the time, and Allah Mubarak, he's incredibly smart and very knowledgeable. He said that if everybody who existed in the past, everybody who exists now, and everybody who exists in the future, mankind, jinn, angel, all of them, if they came into one spot and they all asked Allah for what they wanted, it wouldn't even be like a drop of water on a needle of what decreased from Allah's capabilities and Allah's rizq. Let that sink in for a second. Imagine everybody in the world right now, 8 billion people, asking for something. Now imagine all the people that came before us, and the junoon. And now imagine all the people that are going to come next. Way more than 8 billion, I imagine. Imagine all those people asking for something. And it wasn't even like a drop of water on a needle, like a really thin needle. Allah is capable of everything. And the last little tip in terms of making dua, and this is probably one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, and I don't understand it. You have to send salawat on the Prophet. If you want your dua to be accepted, send salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? At the end of the dua, you can say, Allahumma salli ala nabi, something as simple as that. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك الحميد المجيد. You can say that. Like اللهم صل على Muhammad is enough. Just don't forget to send salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are so many benefits to that, and this video is not about that. But I want to kind of reiterate the 3 points that I made, the 3 steps. So step number 1, grab a piece of paper. Right? You can do this now if you want. Pause the video, do it now. Grab a piece of paper, write down exactly what you want. Exactly what you want. Every minute detail in life of what you're after and what you want. The second step is to look at that thing and be like, nothing else. I'm not going for anything else. What I've written down is what I'm going for, right? If there's something right now that you're pursuing in life that doesn't align with what you said, cut it off. Cut it off, right? The next step, 2.5, is feel like you deserve it. Look at that piece of paper, look at what you've written down and go, I deserve this. And by the way, as a little psychological tidbit, a little rule of the universe, if you will, Allah does not place a desire in somebody unless that person is capable and deserving of that desire. Meaning if you have the desire for something great, all the visions you wrote, Allah allowed you to think that, Allah allowed you to feel those things because you do deserve them, because you will achieve them. So understand that what you've written there is already written for you, okay? And finally, when you make dua, make it with full faith. Have faith that Allah will provide you with what you want because He's infinite, because He can, okay? And the fact that you can make salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that will make your dua accepted even more, right? And I say these 3 things because for me, I'm not just trying to become wealthy for the sake of becoming wealthy. I think there's no point in me dying and taking all the knowledge with me that I have, all everything that I learn, all my money with me to the grave. It's useless. It's useless. And so I share this with you because I want you to be somebody who is committed to making the Ummah great again. And that always starts with us. It starts with me and you as individuals. And of course, everything I've showed you here is incredibly useful. But if you're not fighting shaitan, if you don't understand how shaitan is destroying you every single day, and you need to learn that if you're wanting to stop him so that you can go out and achieve and manifest everything that you want in life, then go and watch this video. I'll literally show you, it's 20 minutes. I'll break down every way that shaitan is trying to destroy you and how you can defeat him, bidnillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.